therefore. And the last two lines in the Hebrew. O Nirvan B'Seva, Yeshenim Rananim Yu, Yaki Ki Ashar Adonai, Suri V'la Tabo. All right, we can put the prayer books aside for now. Time to talk about the Torah portion. And you can tell it's the beginning of the year. You can tell that it's Sefer Breshit. And there's some wonderful stuff here. It's a shame that we have to zip through the mythological business until we get to Abraham. I mean, I like Abraham very much. I don't pretend to understand Abraham the same way we can understand Moses, because we meet Abraham when he's fairly old. And the rabbis, this is a yeshiva sort of thing, where the rabbis used to debate who was more righteous, Abraham or Noah. I'm sorry, Paul?
How would you know?
Oh, I can't define a shrug. I thought you were taking a step.
I mean, it's
Okay.
like,
How would you know? I mean, from their record, from what has come down to us in the
more
Torah.
righteous? Can't they both be equally righteous?
I seriously doubt that. I mean, it's kind of like the Yankees and the Red Sox. I don't even follow sports, but nobody's ever going to say the Yankees are just the same as the Red Sox.
Well, it's like chocolate and vanilla.
No, I think chocolate people come down very strongly for chocolate, and I say that as a vanilla person. But thank you for trying. Yes, Rivka.
Abraham walked with God. Noah
I
listened
guess
to God.
Moses.
Noah followed God.
Well, right, but it says Eto Elohim halach Noah. Noah walked with God. Sorry. Yeah. Well, it's all metaphor. Anybody else? Jeffrey, come on, you knew these people personally.
Moses, yes, Noah, no.
I think
Okay.
Moses.
No, I mean Abraham. What about old Abe? Leland?
Never seen
Nothing
you
wrong
swimming
with
behind
old
the
age.
ark.
Sorry?
There's nothing wrong with old age.
No, I mean, but which is better, Abraham or Noah?
Abraham, I don't know. I wasn't there.
I would say Abraham also.
Abraham also? Okay.
I
Now
mean,
we're
he
getting...
was the first Jew,
Yes, Noah was not Jewish. He built arks.
although Noah
Yes.
didn't get us to eat meat, so that's it.
Yes, he did. Yes, Rivka, you had a comment?
I don't know what we have.
Oh, okay. Yes. Marlena?
No.
No. Rita?
No clue.
Okay. Paul, in the back?
And Noah went through a lot,
Yes, he did.
so
Abraham
maybe it's Noah.
Righteous.
Well, he wasn't Jewish because he was handy.
Okay.
Yes.
I vote seriously. I vote to Abraham.
You vote Abraham?
Yes, and,
Okay.
and the reason is that Noah was building the ark following instructions, but he didn't invite his neighbors in.
Well, okay, there's a mixed opinion on that, but
Well, he
You're
didn't.
mostly
He didn't. He didn't go to tell everybody, hurry up. There's going to be this great flood.
well, supposedly it took him 500 years to build the thing. Maybe he was
Must
Jewish
have been a
anyway.
really
And he
well-made
was
too.
Jewish.
But the whole point was he's building it out in the open. I mean, where is that remodeled ark? There's an ark someplace in the south. Tennessee, one of those places. Anyway, it took him 500 years to build the thing because he wanted people to see and say, hey, what you doing? So that's another opinion. But you're right, your opinion is valid as well.
Yeah, but Noah just built an ark and Abraham built a nation.
But Abraham.
Okay.
Abraham was willing to negotiate with God about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, but did he do anything else?
Did he do anything else?
Yeah. He almost sacrificed his son. He did this very flashy sort of offering thing called Brit Bein HaBetarim, the covenant between the pieces. He took a cow and a goat and a sheep, he killed them, he cut them in half, and he put one half here and one half here, and then a flame from God passed between them. I don't know what that proves. I'm sorry, I'm not being skeptical. I like Abraham. When I get closer to his age, I'll understand him better.
What's your opinion?
Well, I'll tell you what the rabbis say. The rabbis say it was Abraham because Noah let's try again. It was Noah because Noah was preaching and working and doing his thing in the midst of his sinful age. But then so was Abraham. That's tricky. I guess it's Abraham. But it's going to be Abraham. He's got better publicity than Noah. But I'm trying to remember why. Andrew, did you want to say something? No?
I wasn't aware of that argument.
Oh, Well, the rabbis are bending over backwards to prove that it's Abraham. And, but they say, here we go. This is the parallel I've used before, where the teacher leaves the class and appoints one kid to be the stooge. And the stooge is not misbehaving, but all the other kids are misbehaving. That was Noah. He was living in a sinful generation, and so it was relatively easy when the rest of the class is doing the wrong thing to say, oh, what a good boy Noah is, you see? But Abraham's age, I don't know if it was particularly sinful. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing. Okay?
And everybody called Noah is a crazy.
Yes,
And he didn't listen to anyone. This is why they didn't listen to him. He tried to prevent.
Yes.
But nobody listened to him. They called him crazy.
Yes. Well, they probably didn't have much nice to say about Abraham either. I mean, if you're living in a society where everybody's worshiping sticks and stones, idols, and you come along with an invisible God, people are going to say, where's your God? Dina, did you have a comment?
Well, Sherry on Zoom votes for Abraham because he pled for the people, but Noah did not.
He did what for the people?
He pleaded for the
He
people.
pleaded for the people.
Right.
No, Noah didn't say anything. He was too busy with the Gorilla Glue and several tools and all that stuff. He was always going to Lowe's. It was very hard. Supposedly, he
Lowe's
built...
stopped carrying acacia wood also.
Oh, yes, yes. Acacia wood, gopher wood, it's all really the same thing. Okay, it's a very heavy wood, and he went and got an armload in the truck, or more than an armload. He came back, and he had to nail it all together. And also, what did he use to seal the cracks? Tar, yes. And you put tar on the inside and tar on the outside? Now, a few hundred years later, along comes a baby, and his mommy wants to save him from the wicked Pharaoh. So she puts him in a basket. Does she use tar as well?
On the outside.
Yeah, on the outside, because you don't want the kid to smell. I mean, the kid can smell, but he can't smell of something. Okay? So he builds the ark, and how long does the ark float on the surface of the water?
40 days.
40 days and 40 nights. And that is a symbolic number. Moses is up on top of Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights. And I think that's about it for the 40s, but there might be a couple
The Jews
more.
wandered in the desert for 40 years.
Yes, 40 years. Very good, because they had no idea where they were going. You know how easy it is to get from Egypt to Israel?
Right.
6 hours. That's
Well,
all.
Moses was a typical man. He wouldn't stop and ask directions.
He wouldn't roll down the window.
Right.
Yes. Who remembers rolling down the window?
Yeah.
All right, so he builds the ark, and he takes 2 of one kind of animal and seven kosher animals and 2 of the treif animals. Okay, because he's preserving the species. You know what the saddest thing is? I read online this week that we have lost something like Lumpkin's warbler. Lumpkin's warbler. It's a sweet little bird that used to make a certain particular noise, and now it's gone. It just became extinct.
We lose a lot of animals every day go extinct.
But some of them are coming back. Really, some of them are coming back. Did you read about that?
No.
It's like they've been hiding. They're coming back. It's remarkable.
The
Okay.
scientists are trying to figure out how they can possibly clone a mammoth
Hmm.
using an elephant.
Yes, I noticed there are no mammoths around. When I was a kid, there were mammoths everywhere.
Yeah.
All right, so 40 days and 40 nights, and he's got something, it might be a skylight in the roof, which I'm no ark expert, but my feeling is you don't put a window in the roof, okay? Every shul I have ever served has a flat roof. I would like to meet the architect who first decided that a shul roof should be flat. When I was in North Carolina, they had a roof that looked like this. It was very artistic and was all made out of lucite, okay, a lucite roof, and it leaked like a sieve. Yes, you could tell that Rosh Hashanah was coming because they're putting out the paper cups and the buckets. It was quite a thing. All right, so anyway, we've got the ark, and then the rain stops, and the rain starts to recede, and where does the ark open up? End up? Does it end up on, let's see, Mount Olympus, Mount Everest, or Mount Ararat? Okay, very good. Mount Ararat, which may or may not be in the mountains of Turkey. Now, back in the 70s, one of those really accurate newspapers, like the Inquirer. Remember the Inquirer? They're still in business. And they said that they discovered Noah's Ark, the ruins of Noah's Ark, on top of Mount Ararat. And they examined and they looked, and they said, no, this is baloney, because it was a training camp for the Turkish army, and they had built chicken coops. And it's very easy to mistake a chicken coop for an ark, if you're somebody like me. So Noah opens the skylight. Oh, it was called the Zohar. And the Zohar is also a book of 12th century Kabbalah, written by, it'll come back to me. Okay, it's really one of the central texts of Kabbalah. And he opens up the Zohar, so it was either a jewel that gave light, or it was a window in the ark, or it was a book of the Kabbalah. No, it wasn't. Okay, so he flips it open and he lets go a raven. Now, ravens have a very good reputation among the Native Americans, among the Indians. Everybody likes ravens. Edgar Allan Poe is very fond of ravens. Can't miss that. And the raven, does he go or come back? He does come back. All right. Then he sends out a dove. He's not feeling very copacetic about the raven. Sends out a dove, and the dove flies to and fro on the earth, but is unable to find a place to build a nest. And the dove comes back with what in its mouth?
Olive.
Slice of pizza?
An
An olive branch, which is a symbol of what?
Peace.
Peace. Very nice. That's very symbolic. And he comes off the ark, and of course Mrs. Noah follows him, and their three kids, Shem, Ham, and Yafet. And this is where the racism creeps in. But this is how they understood the origins of humanity. Shem is the Semite. He's a Hebrew. He's like us. Ham is African. And Yafet is a white Gentile European, although there are no Gentiles yet. He's a pagan. And they offer sacrifices. They have a barbecue. It's all very nice. Luckily, he brought 7 each of the kosher animals. Otherwise, he'd be wiping out a species every time he made an offering. And then Noah becomes a husbandman. He plants the first vineyard, and he brews the juice into wine. He drinks it and becomes drunk, and then he is naked in the tent. Okay, this is the grown-up part of the Torah. And his son Ham comes in and sees that Papa is naked, and instead of covering him up with a blanket, which would have been the modest, decent thing to do, he goes out and squeals on the old man to his 2 brothers. But Shem and Yafet have a little more regard for their father. They take a blanket, they walk into the tent backwards, and they cover up Noah, I guess like this. Oh, there he is. He's all set. So, because it's more for modesty. Then Noah, after he gets over his hangover, he recovers, and he curses Ham. And this was used as an excuse for slavery. This really was not a nice thing. Yeah. Yes, Jeffrey.
If there were only 3 sons, how was the earth repopulated?
Oh, they all had wives. Their wives got to come into the ark also.
Oh, okay.
This is why they got black. This
Well, he's
because
black. The
they're
kids
not
are.
supposed to. They're not supposed to have intercourse, and they
Who is
have
not supposed to have intercourse?
none of them.
Oh, while they're in the ark.
While yes.
Right. That was the rule.
This why the African became black, because they did not listen the law.
Oh, well, okay. Thank you. And that's how we get Semites and Gentiles and black folk. You'll notice there are no Chinese people or Inuits on the ark. And do we know why? Because they never saw those people. They didn't know they existed. You can't preserve what you don't know. After this is a fascinating episode. Do we know about the Tower of Babel?
Yep.
Yes?
Okay.
Did you help build that too, Jeff?
I watched them.
Oh, very good.
I'm not being
Okay. The Tower of Babel is a fascinating little myth that they kind of stick into at the end of the flood story. And I remember, if you recall back in 1969, the movie by Dino De Laurentiis, The Bible in the Beginning. It was great. My friend Michael Reich and I went to see it at the 14th Street Academy of Music. and the sounds were great, and the special effects were circa 1969.
They
I think what,
occasionally show it on TVN.
oh, cool. Okay. What they
People-
do is they take a bucket of water and they drop in some water and they as some paint and then they swirl it around. Whoa, psychedelic. Really? Well, it was 69. All right, and Michael was about tshuva. Michael was a born-again Jew. He had become religious. I don't know what he's doing these days. I haven't spoken with him. But he sitting there watching, and while they're doing the creation, he jumps up, stands on his seat, and goes, "It's just like Rashi." Like Dino De Laurentiis had a little FaceTime with a biblical commentator who passed away in the 11th century. Well, go figure. Now, Babel does not mean Babel as a confusion of tongues. It means Bab El. It means the gate of God, the gate of God El. And it means that all people in those days spoke one language. And they decide, in their pride, to build a ziggurat. Do we know what a ziggurat is? A ziggurat is a curvy, swervy sort of tower. And in those days, it was King Nimrod who was in charge. And in the movie, you see, you switch between the movie and the Chumash, he takes his bow and arrow, goes to the top of the ziggurat, and fires an arrow into the clouds which contain God. So he pokes God. You shouldn't poke God. Really. Never poke God. Okay? You'll write that down after Shabbos. And God gets angry, and what does he do?
Different tongues.
Right, he changes all of their languages so they cannot communicate. And they all stop working, they run down the sides of the ziggurat, they escape, they run away, and that's why the world is in such a mess these days, because everybody speaks a different language. Okay? Any questions? Paul, come on, you want to ask a question?
I have a question.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much for your attention. Shabbat Shalom. It's beautiful stuff. It's really wonderful. And of course, the difference between the flood that we have and the flood that you find in the world mythologies is that our God is a moral being, and God wants people to treat each other properly. The other ones are just myths. Okay? All right. Thank you, Cantor. Let's get the doors open. Okay, let's see. Rivka and Marlena, would you like to open the doors of the ark? Sure. You bow towards the ark. Wait.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Thank you, ladies. You may be seated. Everyone be seated.
Let's join together in reading the translation on the English side of the first blessing of this section, the Shema and its blessings. Praised are you, Adonai our God, who rules the universe, your word bringing the evening dusk. You open with wisdom the gates of dawn, design the day with wondrous skill, set out the succession of seasons, and arrange the stars in the sky according to your will. Adonai Tzebaot, you create day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness away from light. Eternal God, your sovereignty shall forever embrace us. Praised are you, Adonai, for each evening's dusk. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים. Page 29. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. בשוכבנו ובחומנו, נצליח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
We have the Shema on page 30. We cover the eyes for the top line. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Uncover the eyes. Baruch Shem Kevod, Malchuto, V'olam V'omed. Reading the English. You shall love Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And these words which I command you this day,
Shall take
to heart. Teach them diligently to your children, and recite them at home and away, night and day. Write them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Continue on page 32. Yes, please.
Middle of the page. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם, משה ובני ישראל הענו שירה בשמחה רבה, ויאמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נטר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושי פלא. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני לעם ישראל.
Yes. All right, as is customary, we turn now to page 33, and we read the top paragraph. The following names on the list for Refuah Shalema, quick and speedy recovery. We are thinking about our dear friend Joel Lubar, and also Eileen Carroll, Refuah Shalema, Irene Radish, Refuah Shalema, baby Ella Rose, Refuah Shalema, Ariel Eisen, Refuah Shalema, Norma Fogel, Refuah Shalema, Jean Tarrant, Refuah Shalema, Gary Ways, Refuah Shalema, Marcia Wyrobeck, Refuah Shalema. Any other names?
Howard
Yes.
Chapman.
Refuah Shalema. Yes.
David Hershkowitz.
Refuah Shalema.
Hmm?
Yes.
Read.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Jeffrey
Jeffrey.
Stern, Refuah Shalema. Yes. Anyone else? Okay. All right, let's read the English paragraph, top left on 33. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence. from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise to Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, over Jerusalem and the entire world. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, aporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisroel, v'al Yerushalayim, v'al kol haolam kulo. Amen.
We rise, page 34. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, sing with me, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברא קירותי, וימליך מלכותי, וחיי חונו יום אחד, וחיי דכל בית ישראל. בהגלה, בהגלה, ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יש שמי רבה לברך, לעולם לעולמי יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה רבו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבעתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן. We recite the Amidah individually through page 38, and remember that we are praying for rain in Israel rather than dew in the second blessing.
If you haven't completed the Amidah, please continue. Otherwise, we're on page 47. We'll be doing in the middle of the page, the left-hand paragraph with the inclusion of matriarchs.
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון קונה שמיים בארץ.
We'll sing together the bottom paragraph, which is transliterated. Okay. Avot bedvoro, Chaye metim b'mamaro, Poel hakadosh she'ein kamohu, Ameniach li'amo, li'am Shabbat kodsho. Ivam Ratza Le'aniach Lohem Ivam Ratza Le'aniach Lohem Lefanav Navod B'yirav V'achad V'nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Mein Habrachot Ahud, Adon, Shalom, Yekadesh HaShabbat, Umvorech Shevi, Umeniach B'kedusha, Ve'am B'tushnei Oneg, Zecher L'maaseh, L'maaseh Bereshit, Zecher L'maaseh Bereshit. 48.
Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Retzei v'imnuchatenu, Kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, V'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha. Sabenu mituvecha, v'samchenu b'shuatecha, v'taher libeinu le'ovdecha be'emet, le'ovdecha be'emet. שמירה ועלמא דברה כנותי וימליך מלכותי וחייכונו ויומכונו וחייתו בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב וימברו אמן יהי שמירה ומבורך לעולם ועד יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ובריאותו לעילא מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בימה וימברו אמן תתקבל צלותינו ואותנו דחו ישראל קודם אבוני ושמיה וימברו אמן יהי שלמה רב אמין שמיה וחיים עלינו יעקב ישראל וימברו אמן עושה שלום בברכה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ויעקב ישראל וימברו
All right, the Kiddush is on page 49.
Sabri חבריי
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
You have a slow waitress.
That's it.
Wine.
I'm not gonna tip very much.
Oh, come on.
Whatever happened to wax paper
Wine,
cups?
juice.
Right. It was got a little wax. When I was a kid, the cups were all wax paper.
We're a lot of
San Diego visiting with kids.
Yeah.
Not for the better.
Oh, well, no. I don't go back that far. With all due respect. All right, here we go.
Sabri חבריי ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגודל ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחיננו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זה יציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ויותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת
Everyone's great, thank you. You want me to move back?
Standing for the Aleinu. You have an ark opener?
Yes. Jeffrey, could you open the ark, please?
You just can't get near the candles.
You want to take your sitter?
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה יוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו במשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו הורים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך
Kadosh Baruch Hu, Shneemar V'hayam Adonai, Lemelech al kol haaretz, Hayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, U'shemo echad. Thank you. All right, if you're not saying Mourner's Kaddish, you may be seated, although I would ask everyone to remain standing because of the people we have lost in the most recent conflict. We pray for the safety of Israel and for our righteous departed. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabach Amen. Yomad yivrach irutei v'yamliach malchutei. V'chayecha u'v'yamecha v'chayei t'chol Beit Yisrael. Ad alav v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabach mevorach v'yolam v'leil hayom. Yitborach v'yishtamach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitagdar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei t'kudesha b'richu. V'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushlichata v'nechamata, ta'amiran b'yama v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mama, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru, Amen. You may be seated. And now a few words from our wonderful temple president.
Well, I love this cantor. I think that was it's kind of fun learning new songs too, along with our tradition. The ones we know so well stir up things from Hebrew school, Sunday school a long time ago. But the new ones are really, it feels like we're moving forward, and that's a very lovely feeling. This week, don't miss Rabbi's classes on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, and which is a general discussion or. Oh, it's
It was very good last week. We did very well.
Yeah, it's a very lively, chatty discussion class on Zoom at 4 o'clock, and then Rabbi's current events class at 7 o'clock, which you wouldn't think that there was absolutely anything to enjoy about current events, but our rabbi finds it, and we all come away feeling hopeful and good. And it's been a tough 2 weeks to feel hopeful and good. And we've all been struggling very much. I want you to know, that I'm talking about classes, that Cantor Anita and I are going to speak on Monday about starting her class. The most popular class has been on her survey called From David to Debbie, From David to Debbie, Music from King David through to Debbie Friedman. And there's been a very nice response for that, so we're going to be setting that up. Come November, which is only a week away, I don't know how that happened, but it's going to be November very soon, and Rabbi will be doing the blessing of the animals. I believe it's on the 19th, if I'm not speaking incorrectly. It's a wonderful event to bring your pets to, or just come and look at everybody else's pets, and it's just a lovely traditional thing that Rabbi has done each year for us. We're planning a beautiful Hanukkah party in December. Since it's almost going to be November, it'll be December before we know it. We're waiting for the list from Jafco for our Hanukkah Children's Toy Project, which we do every year. These are our children, our unfortunate children who have been taken into care because of terrible situations at home. And we want to help to make their Hanukkah very special. So I believe this week we'll have the wish list. And you'll get a list of names and the little things that they want. One year, a little girl, the only thing she asked for was a bottle of pink nail polish. I mean, they want so little, so little.
And how many dozens of bottles did she get?
She got, I would say, 24 bottles of every shade of pink nail polish there was, because it evokes such a feeling. They have infants as well who have been taken, removed from homes, and so everyone participates in that, and it's a lot of fun. We have a big table with toys out in the lobby, so that should be in the works hopefully this week. And aside from that, come to the morning minions. We've been having lovely full minions this Monday. Stu Epstein conducts the minion with a breakfast to follow. And on Thursday, Cantor Anita conducts the minion. I think this Thursday we had 14 people at the minion, which is like unreal. It's just so wonderful that we at Temple Shalom are able to keep up this amazing tradition, and we want to keep it going. So if you can come Mondays and Thursdays, come Mondays and Thursdays. If you can come one of those days, do it. I know that you came, and it means the world to our shul, because we're back in life again. So a good Shabbos to each and every one.
Thank you, Rita. Just a little addendum, thinking eventually the brain works, and we have been doing Judaism's Great Debates. We did God debating with Abraham for the lives of the people of Sodom. Sodom lost. We've been talking about Korach and Moses. Korach lost. You see which way this is going. But eventually we'll get to the modern age. Theodore Herzl, would it have been a good idea for him to establish the state of Israel after all? It's kind of a done deal, but you understand. All right, thank you. That'll be 4 o'clock on Wednesday, and 7 o'clock is current events. Thank you, Kate.
So we're closing the project?
No, we're closing with singing the Adon Olam tonight.
Oh, okay, I didn't understand.
I can jump in there.
Okay, why don't you?
Okay. One day they'll make it tell us that you don't step on when you're getting up. Just once. All right, in salute and support of our brothers and sisters in the holy state of Israel who are still in the fight, which is very sad, but what can I say? We'll sing, thank you. We'll sing the Adon Olam to the tune of the Hatikva. Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem kol yitzir nifra, B'eit nasa, B'eit zokol, Azai melech shemo yifra, B'acharei kechlot hakol, B'vado Lov Nora, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hoveh, Vehu Yeh, V'Tifara, Vehu Echad, V'Yein Sheni, V'Hamshilo, V'Achmira, V'Li Reshit, V'Li Tachlit, V'Lo Ha'oz, V'Ha'Yisra, V'Hu Eilim, V'Chai Goali, V'Tzor Chevli, V'Yetzara, V'Hu Nisi, Kozli Minat Kosi Yomekra Yadoa Kid Ruchi Tisha Yaira Vim Ruchi Yati Adonai Li Elohim. Yasher Koach to our wonderful Chazan, and please rise for the closing benediction. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Yo'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka, may the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha, yosem lecha shalom. May the Lord turn his face unto you and grant you peace. Amen. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Right? Okay, good Shabbos.